Welcome into another edition of the Leadership Library, hosted by CEO and author Rocky Romanella. Rocky is the author of the book, Tighten the Lug Nuts, The Principles of Balanced Leadership, and has over 40 years of business experience as a prominent member of the UPS Supply Chain Solutions team, as well as the CEO of Unitech Global Services. So sit back, grab your notebook, and take a seat, and get ready for this edition of the Leadership Library.
Welcome to the Leadership Library. I'm your host, Rocky Romanella. You know, in previous episodes, we talked about training and development, and we talked about some of the competencies that I think would be in that workshop that you develop or work with us here at Tighten the Lug Nuts 360 Management Services. But as you're building or thinking about that workshop, I think action plans are so important. So this episode, I'd like to maybe kind of title, Fail to Plan is a Plan to Fail. One of the action plan processes that I love to use is the SWOT analysis. And you look at your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and barriers. And to me, I think that when you look at it from that perspective, you really start to dig deeper into the things that you're going to do that you've identified to help build that plan. SWOT analysis can be used not only for personal development or an action plan that you're building to move maybe or an operation that has a P&L issue you're trying to work on, but I also think SWOT analysis can be used, for example, you put out a new product, you're trying to understand why that product isn't resonating, why sales aren't where they need to be, and you do that SWOT analysis of that product. You could take apart one of the business units inside your organization to try to understand what's happening with that business. What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? What are their opportunities? And the T stands for threat. I don't really like that word. I like to call it barriers. But I think that's what's so important, because the purpose of a good plan is to identify your strengths. What are your improvement opportunities? And then what's your plans for putting these skills forward, or what are the learned skills you need so that you can use them and you can put them into effective use in your operations or in your department. So for me, I believe action plans are so important as a valuable tool to improve supervisory skills, to help improve maybe a product or help improve a business unit. I also think they help you turn ideas into results, right? That's what's so important. I think sometimes people make the mistake of looking at activities and thinking activities equal results. That's not necessarily the case. There's a lot of activities you do that do not necessarily kind of end up in good results. So you don't want to be someone who's doing a lot of activities. How many people that you work with work a long day but don't get anything accomplished? So activities do not necessarily translate into results. So you want to turn your ideas into results. You want to drive accountability, both accountability to you because remember, when you identify these strengths, weaknesses with those individuals inside your organization, there's accountability to you as the leader to help them achieve it, but there's also accountability to them to fulfill the things that they committed to do. So you want to take your ideas and turn them into results, and you want to drive accountability. And finally, you want to make sure that your goals and the company goals and the individual goals are aligned together. So action plans are such an important part of how you achieve success, both personally and professionally, and also gives you an opportunity to have a process. So for me, I like to use the SWOT analysis, and over the next few episodes, we're going to talk a little bit more in detail about the S in strengths, the W in weaknesses, the O in opportunities, and instead of T for threat, we're going to use the word barrier. So what's our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and barriers? So listen into our next 4 episodes, and we'll talk about the SWOT analysis process. Thank you for being with us today on the show. Thank you for always listening, and thank you for visiting us here at the Leadership Library. I am your host, Rocky Romanella. Thanks for joining us.